Hi friends, it's Lauren Taylor. Thanks for joining me in my craft room today. I'm so excited because I am a part of the release of the emergency card essentials from Trinity Stamps and Sassy's LLC. I am so excited and proud of Sara Liz and this amazing continuation in what I call her empire of emergency cards. So I'm going to be using her emergency card essentials number 2 sentiments, and I'm going to be using this adorable Ninja Man stamp set and the coordinating dies from Trinity Stamps, and of course the emergency card essential dies set number 1 and number 2. So let's jump into our card making today. Well, I guess before we jump into our card making, while I'm getting my stamps ready, I just want to let you know that this is a playlist hop, and you can find the link to the playlist down below in my description. There is a prize for $25 gift card to the Trinity Stamps shop, so make sure you check out the description of my video so you can learn how to enter. So I'm picking out my Ninja Men that I want to use on my card, and I picked 3, although looking back when I'm trying to arrange all my Ninja Men cards, maybe this was one too many, but I make it work and they all fit on the card and it turns out super cute. And I decided that I wanted to stamp my Ninja Men on some craft cardstock. So I grabbed some craft cardstock from my stash, and I'm going to use my little mini Misty here to stamp some brown ink on the craft cardstock for like a tone on tone. Now, the brown ink that I use is alcohol marker friendly. The particular one I have is Crunchy Leaf from Fawn, but it's not as deep of a brown as I want, so I'm going to leave my stamps in my Misty once I get them stamped with this Crunchy Leaf ink, and I'm going to stamp my images again when I'm done coloring, which I know is a little scary, but the perks of having the Misty is that you can do this. So I stamped my Ninja I think 2 or 3 times to make sure I have a really good clean impression on these pieces of craft, and again, not going to remove the stamps. I just set them aside, and I'm going to grab my Oh Hoo Hoo art markers, and I'm just going to do some really quick coloring. I'm not going to go into too much detail about my coloring for this video because it is a hop and I don't want to keep you here too long, but I'm using browns to color in my gingerbread. I'm using reds to color in some of their ninja accessories, and then I'm going to use black as well. Well, not black. I will use a dark warm gray to be black. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, I don't really like coloring with black. I like using gray tones so it looks black, but it's not just one big black color, that there's some dimension still when you use gray tones. Once I'm all done coloring with my alcohol markers, I'm going to grab a white colored pencil. So I have a color pencil from an old set. I don't even think I have this set anymore. I might have just donated all those colored pencils and just kept the white out of there because I don't really color with colored pencils. But I'm using a white pencil to color in the frosting. So you can see on this little star cookie, kind of like a ninja star, which I think is the cutest one. And then the frosting details on the ninja bread, I'm going to use the color pencil as well as their eyes. And then 2 of the Ninja Men have little details on their kind of headpieces, or I don't know what ninjas wear. But anyway, I use the white color pencil, and they look really nice. So now I'm going to put them back into my Misty and make sure that I don't screw up my nice coloring. And I'm using VersaFine Clear in Pinecone, and you can see it really darkens the lines and it creates such a more vibrant distinction of that line. So I went ahead and repeat that for the other 2 as well. Now the stamp set has its own coordinating dies, which is wonderful. So I'll go ahead and use some repositionable low tack tape to add the dies around my images. And I'm so sorry, you see my head a couple times in this video. But I'll go ahead and get that tape onto all 3 of my Ninja Men, and then I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine. Once I have the 3 of them, I will grab my white gel pen and just add a few highlights. This gel pen doesn't really sit super well on top of the color pencil, but it still sits nicely on my alcohol marker coloring. So I'll just go ahead and add a few highlights here and there around all 3 of my Ninja Men, and they'll be ready to go when it's time to add them to my card. So now I get to do the fun part, and that is pick one of my emergency card sentiments. I thought Believe in the Magic of Christmas was kind of cute to go with this set since, you know, it's they're Ninja Men. So I'm going to grab one of the circle dies from the Essentials set number 1, and I'm going to make sure that it will fit around the sentiment that I want, and then I'm just going to cut it out. And I know that I probably could make sure that I cut these out a little bit more perfectly, but I'm just going to trim around it as is because I want to make sure that I get through this video, and I'm not too worried about my other sentiments. They will get used. So I did pick one of the smaller circles around the Believe. I'm going to use a circle larger than that to cut out of some more craft cardstock. And then I have the scallop circle out of some kind of shimmery, shiny cardstock in a deep red color. I'm also grabbing my gingerbread pattern paper pad from scrapbook.com, and I'm going to pick out the red ho ho ho. Well, lots of those repeating, and then I'm going to pick out this like present looking cookie pattern paper. And I'm going to use the die that kind of cuts your paper at an angle, and it makes a nested A2 rectangle. So it's not A2, but it will fit on an A2 card front. And then I'm also going to grab some white cardstock, and I'm going to cut out this kind of swirly detail from the Emergency set number 2. It made me think of frosting, just like my Ninja Men, so I wanted to include that as well. And then I'm also going to do a strip of the same red shimmery cardstock as that scallop circle, so that way I can hide where my 2 pattern paper pieces are going to meet. You'll see what I mean when I start assembling the card together. And then I decide while I'm die cutting that I am going to take the A2 size from the Essential Set 1 and cut out some additional craft cardstock to be my A2 card front. So now that I have all of my pieces, I'm going to start gluing them together. And I'm going to start with adding my pattern paper to the A2 craft cardstock. And that's one thing I truly, truly love about Trinity Stamps is that there is this really nice kind of like embossed line when you use their die cuts for basic shapes. And I think it just adds a little extra to the dies and really separates them from other A2 nesting die sets or whatever size nesting die sets. I love the embossed look of the rectangle and all the different pieces and the circles. Like I said, it just really steps up your dies or your die cuts. So I added the bottom ho 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 part to my craft cardstock, and now I'm adding the top, which are the presents, and it also brings in a little bit of green. My card is very red and white, so having the green of those kind of present gift looking sugar cookies just added a little bit more color. So now you can see where my 2 pattern papers line up. You don't need to cover them. They line up so cleanly and perfectly. But if you don't want to see where that, they meet up, you can cut out a strip like I did. And again, so sorry you're seeing my hair. I just want my strip to look straight across. So I am, or not straight, but even. So I'm using my grid to help me get that lined up. And once I have that in place, I'm going to glue down my little swirly white cardstock. Now this one is a little more dainty, so I'm going to use my tweezers while I add the glue behind the different loops. And once I get that glue down, I'm just going to use my finger to kind of dab some of it up so that way it won't bleed glue everywhere. So once I get one side done, I'll do the other side, and then I'm going to add this just below that shimmery red strip of cardstock that I added. After that, I will glue my circles together. I'm going to adhere the craft circle to the shimmery red circle, and then I will add my sentiment. Now I know Sarah Liz from Sassy's LLC uses a repositionable tape for her sentiments because that's why they're emergency cards. If you have not heard of them before, Well, let me tell you about them. But you can adhere using some repositionable or temporary adhesive, a sentiment onto the card, or you can wait, and that way when you need to grab a card in an emergency, like you have to run to a birthday dinner, you can pick out a card that fits their style or personality, and then you can pick out a sentiment and match it to the card. So you don't have to glue the sentiment down, or you can use a temporary adhesive. So if you end up not liking that sentiment, you can choose something else without ruining your card. I love this concept. I have all of the emergency card downloads. I'm really excited to finally be using one in a video today to celebrate Sara Liz again with this partnership with Trinity Stamps. It is so cool that she has a die set. Such an amazing accomplishment. So now that my circles are all nested together, I'm going to use some 1mm foam adhesive and attach that down so I can adhere my circle. I'm going more towards the right side of the card. And then it did take me a little while to figure out where I wanted my ninja men to go, but once I finally got them in a good place, I'm using 2mm foam adhesive this time, so it's a little thicker than my sentiment circles, just so they pop up a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and add one to the top left. I liked the one with the ninja star kind of going off to the side. And then I have one in the bottom right, and then, breaking that candy cane. And then I have my last one with the 2 candy canes kind of sitting next to the gingerbread on the bottom. I wanted to add a little bit of shimmer and shine because I don't know how to make a card without shimmer and shine. So I'm going to add some of these. They're kind of like iridescent snowflakes. These are the Shimmer Snowflakes Flat Confetti from Trinity Stamps. So once I get my card front onto my A2 card base, I'm just going to grab a jewel picker and place some around the card. So I'm just going to pick up a few, place them around, and once I'm happy with how many I have, I'll go ahead and pick them up again, this time gluing them down with liquid adhesive. Once I'm done placing those snowflakes, that's going to finish my card. I had so much fun playing with the emergency card essentials from Trinity Stamps and Sassy's LLC. Again, I'm so excited for Sara Liz partnering with Trinity Stamps, such a wonderful company, and to showcase her fun products is just like such a dream come true to play with. And I'm so happy and proud of her and to be a part of this hop. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll click like, and if you're new here, I hope you'll subscribe and come back. As always, you can find everything I use down below in the description box. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye!